Today I want to talk about how Gesture and Profit, and to a certain extent then also GC Busan, revolutionized the way teams are building dive comps around and the way the playstyle shapes up, and how we also see these structures now being repeated in Overwatch League, and how that all started with Gesture and Profit. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at 4 different clips, and then we're going to see how that structure now has translated into Overwatch League and how that is very much accepted by Overwatch League coaches, or so it seems. So we're going into the first clip, and this is GC Busan against Lunatic High, and the first 3 clips will all be from that series. We're on Control Center in Lijiang, and we're in a situation where really only Profit has ultimate. Yes, Hagopion does too, but overall this is definitely by all means a dry push for GC Busan, right? They need to catch up in support ultimates. Closer is only at 30%, while both the Lunatic High supports have their ult up. It's also true for the DPS. Guido pretty much has it, right? So what GC Busan wants to do here is force out support ultimates. And the support ultimates definitely the most game-changing, and also if you look statistically, the most important to have up in a fight and to use in a fight. So we keep this clip rolling, and what we will see here is Gesture will make one of his eco jumps, is what Wolf calls them actually, in the run-up to this clip. And he says that Gesture has been very much well known for especially these eco pushes, where really with very little investment they can force out and get ahead in the battle for a better state of ults, right? So what we will see here is Gesture will jump up here. So this is Profit. Now look what Profit does. We're rolling this clip. He 1 blink, 2 blink, and Gesture forced Jaehong into that position, and Toby knows this is not going well unless he uses ultimate. Keep in mind, at this time, the best case scenario is that Jaehong has communicated to Toby that his ultimate is up, or is going to be up soon. In the worst case scenario, because it just happened, Toby thinks he's the only one with the support ultimate, so he needs to commit that. Right? He needs to commit his ultimate because he can't know for sure that Jaehong has his up. So that's exactly what he's going to do. Keep in mind, no ultimate at this point used by GC Busan. This is a pure dry push. I mean, look at where half that team is. Like, someone's almost in spawn here, Hagopion is here, like, Closer doesn't really look at it either. This is Hureg, like, nothing really is happening here, right? It's only these two, that unit of these two. And only these two force out an ultimate. So here we see the potential of an incredibly well in-tuned or synergetic Winston Tracer duo. So this keeps rolling. Of course they will lose this fight, but it doesn't matter. They already got ahead in a sense, right? Profit even ends up killing Jaehong. He uses his ultimate possibly to force Jaehong into a mistake of using his own. And now just think of that possibility when they get both ultimates at the cost of just one lost fight, at which point at 93% anyway, right? So second clip. Here we are once again on Lijiang, and look at Gesture here. The front line is very much offensively located for Lunatic High. Again, the backline for GC Busan is also very deep, but it doesn't matter. This is a 2-man army, basically. They apply some pressure onto Miro, and this is usually also the start of this fight. What GC Busan will do, their backline will pressure one of the tanks, the D.Va will have to commit to save the Winston. Sometimes he will even need to boost, but also just matrix management makes then the counter dive extremely potent. All you need is Gesture and Profit. So once again, we look at this, and Profit will already commit one of his blinks before Gesture's even in the air. So look at this, and we just saw, if you look, if we go here, Jaehong is here. Zumba tries to catch up, but he's too late. Gesture will power bomb this. Prophet is on him, and it's basically once again with very little committal in that situation. It's once again over. They're now in a situation where their Zenyatta is down. It's a 5v6, 78% of the time. They win this. This is even pretty safe because Gesture does have his ultimate for backup. He doesn't even need it really. It's just a clean in and out, and even though they have their support ultimates, and usually you would expect this fight to start with Lucio having to counter ult one of the DPS ultimates, it's not at all what's happening. They just take that fight by storm, and in that case, they also end up winning it, just based on the fact that they were 5v6, and then maybe a little bit superior ult economy situation, and they will just take that submap just because of that, right? So, third clip. We're in the Lunatic High GC Busan series, and here we will see, so once again, Prophet runs up, and he will now soon start damaging Miro a little bit. He pokes a little bit, so here comes the damage on Miro, and here Zumba needs to protect Miro. Well, that's already the call to action, right? Lunatic High, once again, at the very least, not behind an ult economy, right? These are going to get their ult very soon, but in general, this is not too different here, right? The only difference really being that Hagopyun is going to have his ultimate up, while Jaehong doesn't. So, by the way, this is a very good case where all the people that say that Apex has sick observing, I mean, look at this. We can now really only infer stuff from the kill feed, right? So this is Gesture, and you will jump into the little cabin in the back where the mini is, and in there is Jaehong and Toby. Now, they once again have communicated that they want to focus Jaehong. They're running at this time at the best backline in the world with one of the best divas who has just amazing game sense, and they can still do it to him. Now look at this, like Gesture doesn't even really need to be there, but they would have tried that again, right? Once again, Gesture comes in, and together with Prophet, they would just walk up to him. Now this is the excellence of Prophet. He just one-clips Jaehong, and there's really nothing even someone like a Toby could do who reads the game so perfectly. And I mean, this blew us out of the water back then, right? Just that crisp synergy of these two, and sometimes it's just Prophet just being absolutely insane, right? So this keeps going, and in general, this is just, I mean, marvelous. At this point, you just really need to play this fight out and just see it through, right? So, fourth clip. Now we are actually in Overwatch League, right? We're playing Seoul Dynasty. It's Ilios, and once again, I want you to look at the now second most vulnerable target in that meta, right? So we're not in a situation where we have a Zenyatta, but they do just the same to other supports, right? So we keep this rolling, and we will see a bit. This is like all of this is basically to force out some protection from Zumba, and they will also pressure him, but in the end, it's just all about the Gesture and Prophet show, right? They stabilize here. Hurek doesn't really influence the fight that much. At most, he distracts by putting the pressure on, and yes, this is all fairly low, but look at this. Like, the target of choice is actually not one of them that that we see here, that are already low. No, it's going to be Toby. So here, Toby gets focused, and once again, this is Gesture, and this is terrible image quality, and you will see in a bit that, just look at the quickness of that focus fire. Just look at the beauty of it. We can't really see the coordination as well, but here it's just boom, just Toby just drops. This is one of the best Lucius in the world, and he just gets clipped, right? So, once again, the synergy of Gesture and Prophet, and that's why they are a staple for everything that London does, right? you can pretty much assume that unless Gesture and Prophet are playing, this is a very weak opponent, and there's no strategy that they run behind that. So now that Gesture and Prophet have established that amazing synergy, other teams try to emulate exactly that. And if we're looking at the teams in Overwatch League, and we can just go through some of them, we will see that this as a reoccurring theme. So, for instance, for Boston Uprising, this is definitely true for Striker and then also Gamsu, right? So now that communication between these two heroes is so vital, you need them to be able to communicate with each other, right? So this is also one reason while Dallas Fuel had a lot of issues. They let Effect run wild for the most time, almost playing more like a bird ring style in KDP, where it was all about the DPS just wrecking them. And I mean, you would say KDP, wait, didn't bird ring and Fissure do it to this extent? Yeah, but it was Rascal and Birdring doing that, right? And that's exactly the reason why some people might argue that Fissure was maybe even a better tank than Gesture. It doesn't matter. It's all about that synergy, and that's why Gesture was playing, and we didn't see Fissure much at all, right? And now that Fissure has his Tracer synergy behind him, and they're still developing this with Asher and also Shofar to some extent, right? So all these teams are trying to develop exactly that synergy. Soon and Fate, right? Here it's, okay, Sabiobi has more of a style where he more duels people, but he still has the target calling together with Mano, right? Well, who else do we have? Now, Florida brought in Awesome Guy and Sire player, so a Winston and a Tracer, right? These structures keep popping up all over the league. The Overwatch League teams have realized that there is something revolutionary about what Gesture and Prophet did in Season 4 and how it still prevails in Overwatch League, and how they need to emulate that in order to stand a chance in the dive meta. I hope I made a good case for this concept taking place. And as always, I'm very happy about comments, just discussing these concepts. And then if you have anything that you'd like to apply on top, please let me know. I'm always happy. I'm pretty much respond to all the comments I get. So thank you for watching.